What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Media Mania podcast. I am your host, as always, the Media Maverick, Mike Weldon, and tonight I'm joined by a very special guest, Mizpah from Mayhem Media.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing terrific, man. How about you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a little chaotic lately, but having a little one will do that for you.
Yeah. This is a very special guest because Mizpah is one of the founders of Mayhem Media alongside JD or Jonathan Edmonds.
I am.
So tell me how that relationship came to be, how you and JD thought of. I know a little bit how it was just the boiling point at one time. Then y'all separated Mayhem and the boiling point. How did that come to be?
So it all kind of got started like me and John. We're always looking for ways to improve things and make things better, and we're always looking to. We've always got ideas, and we're always kicked around different things and been like, hey, we should do this. Hey, we should do that. And the one day he says to me, he's like, I think I want to do a podcast. I want to I want to give people a place to, speak their mind and let their voices be heard and make it a forum where, anybody can talk about anything. And the more he talked about it, the more I sitting there, I told him, I said, the funny thing is, I was thinking about doing the same thing. Thinking about starting a podcast, thinking about doing, different, maybe a slightly different avenue, but that's kind of how that idea sparked. And then that just grew into the Boiling Point podcast. At first, it was just me and him and one other person, and the Breeze, my wife, she would do the fact checking for us off screen, and it was just that was it. It was just us, and we were scrambling. We'd try to bring in any guest speakers we could, which a lot of times was friends of ours that would come on for an episode or two, or or other family members, and it slowly grew, and it got to a point where we started talking about how we wanted to format the show, different shows and stuff, and how we wanted to present them. And I really started pushing to create two brands.
Okay.
The Boiling Point podcast, which is a lot of your hot topic conversations, a lot of your conversations that are a little more political, a little more sometimes taboo, a little hot topics.
Yeah.
And then the entertainment side of it, which is sports and lighthearted, just fun listening, easygoing kind of material. And JD wasn't real keen on that at first, but the more I talked to him about it, the more it just made sense to do that. Because sometimes we'd have people who would want to come on and do a show about, let's say, football, for example.
Yeah.
But they couldn't necessarily come onto the show and be affiliated with the Boiling Point podcast because of some of the topics that were being discussed on there.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I shouldn't say they couldn't. They could, but they didn't feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Totally understandable.
the whole point was to create an environment where anybody could talk about anything. And we did that a little too well, I think.
I think Mayhem Media is awesome. Like the few months I've been a part of it, it's opened up a lot more doors.
Yeah, our growth is exploding. What started out as an idea to have a podcast has turned into a media company, and we we kind of laughed. we say we just kind of fell into this one.
Yeah, and I just some of the people that I've connected with, like you, Connor, Robbie, Jacob, and it's just been an awesome group of people, and I'm thrilled to be part of it.
And we love having you guys because you guys are part of the company. You're part of the team, and that's the beautiful thing about it. It's not just one person sitting behind a camera talking about things. We grew a team, and everybody's got a say in things, and everybody's got an opinion, and we do our best to make sure everybody has a chance to voice what they think should happen next.
Yeah, and I know like this didn't always used to be how it is now on StreamYard, where you had like you can do multiple things at once, like have all the fancy visuals and all that. It didn't. Not every podcast starts from the bottom, and I'm sure that's how the Boiling Point and Mayhem started.
Oh, absolutely. Like we started out our first couple of shows had we'd get a view or two, maybe three, and then that kind of turned into we were ecstatic when we reached 15, and then we
Oh
were
yeah,
super excited when we reached 30, you know. And now we're at 20,000 plus views on our content.
oh yeah, and just before I joined Mayhem, I didn't have the views I have on some of my stuff that I do now, or some of the like. I was a lot more shy. I wasn't very talkative. I would stumble more on my words, and I've gained more footing and found my confidence with Mayhem.
And that's part of it too. Like being part of a team, you help each other grow, you help each other learn, you support each other. We keep things pretty relaxed. If I'm sure you can comment on that. Like we're not, you have to do this, you have to say this, you have to be polished, you have to be professional, you have to be now, yeah, there's a certain expectation of professionalism there,
Hmm.
but we're a pretty laid back group.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can attest to that.
And I think that helps. Like that helps each individual person grow, and it helps the team grow overall.
I know everyone in Mayhem has their own little role they do. Like Connor, he does the wrestling coverage. Robbie, he's behind the scenes making the logos. JD does the Boiling Point. How much content are you involved in helping be a part of or behind the scenes doing stuff?
So I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, in terms of administrative work. I've been working on doing some sponsorship stuff. I'm constantly out there networking with people, trying to get more people involved with Mayhem Media, and um, trying to make ideas come to fruition. As far as I might get an idea for a new series that is something completely out of left field that we're not even involved in. So I will go meet with people and I will try to make that come to life. I also will meet with owners of companies to try to discuss with them sponsorship opportunities, things like that. Um, I've also in the past I've had to deal with discussions with JD about how to handle certain things as a company. Um, so I'm involved a lot in the administrative decision making, as far as maybe one of our hosts has some personal issues that they're dealing with, and there's a lot of things that are being dredged up about them, that are completely false, but there's still things that are being brought up. And we had to
Yeah.
discuss things like how did we want to handle that as a company, and that was a discussion that needed to be had. It
Of
wasn't just
course.
one person making that decision; it was the company as a whole. It was me, it was John. Everybody involved had that conversation. Um, and we just had to go with the information we had at the time and make a decision, and it turned out to be the right decision. And uh, that's that's kind of how it goes. But
So yeah, so I've got to ask, what made y'all choose StreamYard as the place to do all of the podcasting?
StreamYard was something that JD was familiar with. It was something he had a little bit of experience using, and I really didn't have an opinion on it either way, quite honestly, because I was completely new to the world. So he could have told me he wanted to use anything, and I'd be like, sure, let's try it out. I was very
Okay.
much about let's for lack of a better explanation, let's throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Oh, yeah, because there's many different platforms to do your podcasting on, and like I didn't even know what StreamYard was before I joined Mayhem. I was like, I just started using it when I started talking to Mayhem. So
Yeah, I honestly didn't know it existed either. I knew there were a bunch of different platforms out there, but I knew a little bit about nothing about all of them. Like
yeah,
it
I'll
wasn't something I really thought about.
yeah, I was either using Facebook to go live or TikTok to go live. And StreamYard, you can go to live to multiple places at once instead of just being on one place at one time.
And that's one of the nice things about it.
It is. I know you said you're more behind the scenes, but have there been any episodes that you've been on that you've enjoyed being on the most of Mayhem or the Boiling Point?
I mean, every time I've been in front of the camera, I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing my own series, the Becoming Your Father series. That was something uh, pretty close to my own heart. I mean, obviously, it's talking about me becoming a father. 3 years ago, I had a baby girl, and me and John talked about it, and he brought up a couple of good points about, you hear a lot of women talk about becoming a mother, and but guys don't. We don't really talk about our journey into fatherhood.
Oh, yeah, you don't hear
And
about it.
I thought it was a great opportunity to kind of bring that to light. Um, and that was a series that ran for 18 months roughly. We did several. I couldn't even tell you how many episodes on that. And it's not. We haven't finished that series. It's been in a long hiatus because things progression of things slowed down, and I felt like the material was kind of getting repetitive.
Okay.
So I took a little bit of a break from that. Plus, life kind of started getting in the way a little bit.
I know I've heard a little bit, I've heard bits and pieces from Connor and JD, but I want to hear you. I want to hear about it from you. Like, I know Mayhem at one time had a website. How did that come to be, and will it ever come back again?
It'll definitely come back again. That was an idea that we had because we wanted to have a place where we could have all of our videos, all of our shows, all of our different series and episodes, but we also wanted to have a place where we could have written content as well. Um, that's something I enjoy doing, and I know that we had a couple other people that enjoyed writing things, and I felt like that was another avenue we could follow. for people who maybe aren't interested in being in front of the camera or doing anything in that aspect, but they still want to get their stuff out there.
Yeah.
It would give them just one more avenue for us to be able to give them a place to speak. Plus, with having written content that's being published, that also gives us a little bit of credentials to be able to do more on location shows as well.
Yeah. I know because I all the like you can go to some of these sporting events or other big events just with a phone and a microphone now has a uh, dude, I don't know if you got any of that or not.
It looked like you were lagging a little bit, but I think what you were talking about was how pretty much anybody with a cell phone and a microphone can be a reporter now.
Yeah, because it's especially like some of these guys that do wrestling covers, like Muscle Man Malcolm or Chris Van Vliet. That's how they started out. Just like these, they go up to people with microphones and ask them questions.
A lot of them aren't even using microphones anymore. They're just using their cell phone because technology's gotten that good.
Yeah, and I would
Like,
love for Mayhem to be able to do some of that stuff, like have press badges and attend events.
oh, me too. That was kind of where I was headed with it. Was I wanted to be able to get out to like some local sporting events, and I mean, we have Williams Grove Racetrack, which is one of the biggest dirt tracks on the East Coast, and it's
Yeah,
one of the most well known. It's right in our backyard, just about.
yeah,
Plus, we've got so much high school football and college games, and there's so many events that happen right around us that we could easily be covering. And in order to do that, we need to have written content showing that we have covered that type of material in the past.
yeah. I even when where I am, I live there within 8 hours of me. There's 3 racetracks within 8 hours of where I live. Two of them are it's just a small time racetrack, but that would be something. That would be something cool to questions.
So I lost you a little bit there. You had cut out again. You had said you had 3 tracks that are within 8 hours of you. One of
Hmm.
them's kind of small.
Yeah, like it's for like small time racers who are trying to make their name, and then the other
Okay.
two, I live a couple hours away from Bristol. Then I live near the Nashville Nashville Motor Speedway where NASCAR comes for
Oh
the
wow.
Xfinity Series.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And
Yeah,
well,
we
just
have.
what I was saying, it'll be cool to have a press badge to ask drivers or just to go to any sporting event and ask questions or get coverage.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, even where we're at, we're within a day's drive of Pocono Speedway. We've got Dover. We have even Watkins Glen's not that terribly far. That might be a little more than 8 hours, but uh, yeah, we're kind of where we're at. We're centralized to a lot of things,
Yeah,
and not just NASCAR, but we also have IMSA racing and RCCA and drag racing and uh, GT racing. There's a lot of stuff that goes on within just a few hours of here.
oh, yeah. And where I'm located, not only is there's a racetrack, there's uh I live. There's a lot of indie wrestling in my area. There's like 4 or 5 shows within an hour of where I live.
Okay.
So there's a lot of sporting
That's
events in my area.
that's awesome. So, and you had asked me some questions. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What was it that drew you to Mayhem Tainment?
Just I had heard about y'all in passing from other people that had done content with Mayhem, and the few people I had talked to, they had nothing bad to say, and I just thought maybe y'all could help me grow and become better with my craft. And then I actually joined Mayhem and saw it's more than just a company; it's family.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of a common theme. Like I feel like anybody that's with the company that you ask that question, they'll say the same thing. We have a family environment.
Especially with I when I met Connor, I'm like they Connor's. He was one of the guys I loved connecting with when I first joined Mayhem. Uh, he's like a little
Little
brother
Brit.
who's annoying little brother.
He's a bloody Brit.
He is that. He is.
I love Connor. He's a great guy. I
So
like
what?
picking on him.
So what made you choose the name Mizpah?
So it's kind of funny. Uh, Mizpah goes all the way back to when I first got internet, and I had AOL dial up. You know that.
You know,
I
I
got instant messenger.
so
AOL instant messenger. And I was working on creating a username for it. And actually it was my mom had told me Mizpah actually it's a it translates into a meeting in peace, where
okay,
two people or two places meet in peace.
okay. That is very unique. I wouldn't have figured that out on my own.
And there's, I mean, depending on belief, depending on where you source your information, uh, if you look at the Bible, Cain and Abel met in Mizpah,
Okay,
meaning they met in peace. But Mizpah was actually in the Bible, it was a specific location where it was a pillar of stones where two property lines met together at, like the corner of the properties.
yeah, that's a very that's a unique story. I see. That's just unique to me. That's a name should be unique, and that's one of the most unique stories I've heard that comes with a name.
Yeah, and that's why I've kept it all these years. It's been that's I've used that for so many different things. And then when I got into gaming, online gaming and stuff, I made that my username for that, and so it's kind of something that stuck with me.
Yeah. So another question I have is, what made Mayhem choose Bonfire for all the Mayhem merch?
You know, I honestly don't know a whole lot about that. That's definitely more of a JD question.
Okay.
Um, I he had asked about starting a storefront, and I told him that I wasn't going to be very much help with that because I had no knowledge or any past history of doing anything like that at all. And
Uh,
he had done stuff with JDE Designs.
yeah.
That's with a Z on the end of it. And
Okay.
I don't know if maybe he used Bonfire with that, so he was familiar with it. I really don't know.
Okay. Uh, with you like being a part of Mayhem, do you have your own like T-shirt or anything that's in the Mayhem shop?
I don't have like my own design. No. Um, I do have some apparel, and actually, I need to get new apparel because I recently shrunk mine in the dryer. But I do have gear.
But what I was saying was, I'm sure the Mizpah gear you have, I'm sure it looks just as good, if not better, than the stuff on the Mayhem storefront.
Yeah, everything I have, it's pretty much what's available to people that they can buy at any time. It's just it has my name on it,
Yeah.
or just little touches. Um, but yeah, I like for example, I have a um, travel coffee mug that actually John got me
Okay.
as a gift, and I carry it. In fact, that's why I don't have it right now. It's at work. Um, but I carry that thing with me, and I use that as a conversation piece.
I,
Because people see it and they're like, "Hey, where'd you get that?" Yeah.
I
Well,
would love.
now
I
that
would love to
door's
see it.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see it sometime.
Oh, absolutely. I'll show it to you.
So the gear you do have, is there anywhere like you said people were able to buy it? Correct.
From the storefront, yeah.
Okay. I would have to go check out. I don't think I've looked at all the storefront yet. I've only looked at so much of it.
Yeah, there's now
It's
the
changed a lot since
merchandise
I joined.
the merchandise does change with campaigns. So you might not be able to get the coffee mug that I have right now, but it might
Yeah.
come back in another campaign.
Yeah. When I had JD on his episode when I was interviewing him, he was telling me about the 4th of July T-shirt. It was only for a limited time.
Yeah, and so we like to have a little bit of fun with that too, because it kind of keeps things fresh. It's not just the same old stuff that you see. You can check it today, and 6 months from now, check it, and it's the same stuff. We like to keep a constant revolving rotation of different items in the storefront, so that it's not just same thing day in and day out. And I feel like that causes people to check the storefronts a little more often, because it's not the same gear from one week to the next. It's like I said, I have a coffee mug that I'm pretty sure isn't available anymore, but it might make a comeback. And we've also had different designs that we've done limited time runs on and stuff like that, which is you know that's another exciting thing that we do that not too many people think about.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. One of the biggest things that's happened to Mayhem, at least in my opinion, and probably JD's opinion, is the Diamond Cartel license.
Oh, absolutely. The fact that we are licensed to sell their official merchandise is amazing to me. Like how many people it sounds good to say officially licensed.
It
Like
does.
just say that and it makes you feel good.
It does. How did the connection with Mayhem and Austin Diamond come to be with that?
That's a story that's best left for John to tell. I really don't know all of the details of that. That was a connection that John JD had made. Um, I feel like that was more. It was. I mean, everything that we've done as a company, everything's been purely organic. It's grown, it's adapted, it's been happenstance, it's been just by chance. I'll throw a little bit of luck in there, and we've everything's just organically occurred.
Okay. I know since I've joined Mayhem, I've reached out to Austin Diamond myself, and I was I was just looking for guests to fill up certain dates, and I thought, well, maybe if I out to him, he might be willing to come on. And I know he's been on a Mayhem episode before, but I thought maybe he'll come on an episode of mine. And he was very cool about it, and he said just he had to look at dates because October was already booked when I reached out to him.
Mm. Yeah, and I feel like we draw a group of people, like we just have that kind of positive vibe that kicks out, and we tend to draw that kind of crowd to us. So anybody that you talk to within the company is going to be willing to do a lot of stuff. We're all willing to help each other, and anybody who we get to come onto the show, most of them are really cool, really chill, real willing to jump out and help each other as well. There's in the podcasting community, I feel like there's a lot of, well, hey, you help me out, I'll help you out.
Yeah, and that's another thing with Mayhem. Like John, he's been helping me out sometimes with some of my episodes, being backstage when he sees me having like even now, like when he sees me stumbling on my words, he'll help me catch myself.
Yeah, and through growth comes opportunity, and it's just kind of it's smart business.
It is.
It really is. Anytime you have a chance to help somebody grow, they're going to remember that. And that's just
And
kind of who we are as people, too.
so my next question, how did the logos for Mayhem and the Boiling Point come to be what they are?
So that would be our graphic designer, who's John's cousin, I believe it is, Robbie. They're related somehow. He's amazing. He
He
can
is.
he can think these things up and whip them together, and I don't know how he does the wizardry that he does, but everything he's put together, we've just been like, that's exactly what we're looking for. And
It,
he might ask us a question or two, but for the most part, it just kind of works.
it does. Like just and the reason I asked the question because me and John touched on it a little bit about the Jolly Rogers flag and how the original design is not what it is now.
No, the logos and the designs have changed and adapted as time has gone, and I think a lot of that is just uh, kind of goes along the line of, like I had said earlier, we're constantly looking to improve and grow.
Yeah,
A good artist also continually and constantly looks to improve their work and grow and learn new things and get better. So, you know, it kind of occurred naturally.
yeah, and just some of the designs I've seen since joining Mayhem have been some very awesome designs.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. Oh, we've had, we'll just say, several different designs, but all of them have kind of
Been
had
unique.
bits and pieces of the previous design in
Yeah,
them.
they all kind of keep the skull to them, like the Mayhem skull.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the skull design. It's yeah. Everyone I've seen some of these different skull designs, but the one from Mayhem has this very unique and different from all the rest.
Yeah, and I think part of that idea kind of came back to, I don't know if you've ever heard the term of pirate radio.
I have.
So we're kind of like the pirates of podcasting. Like
Okay.
we're doing things that a lot of other people haven't done before.
Yeah.
We're willing to step outside of our comfort zones and uh, do things that take risks that most people wouldn't. But we also have a code as well, like
Yeah.
kind of like a pirate's code. But with us, it's about the brotherhood and about being able to watch each other's back and help each other grow and give each other advice when we need it and build this community around us that just works together in this balance that just works.
Yeah. And it's basically honor, loyalty, respect, and brotherhood. Yeah.
Exactly. You've nailed it right on the
And
head.
uh, uh that was actually yeah. I had some help coming up with that. So
that explains it perfectly.
so okay. One of my last questions I do want to ask is how did how does you and JD, how do you, if y'all have disagreements on something that Mayhem or the Boiling Point is doing, how do y'all settle it?
Lots and lots and lots of conversation. We just
Okay.
talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, and we explain our points, and we don't argue. We just don't. We sit, we explain our points, and if we come to a stalemate, then we just push it off and reapproach it later.
Okay.
And uh, luckily, with having you guys around now, it's not just me and him. So it's not just two people butting heads and
Yeah.
having a conversation. We have other people to sound off of and say things. Say, hey, I was thinking this. John's thinking this. What's your opinion on it? And
So,
that we take that information in, and then we go back and we have more conversation.
so this will be my last question. I know, but how did y'all come to have the music rights to the Frederick? I I always butcher the name. The Marcus
Marcus
Frederick.
Fredrickson.
Yeah. How did that come to be?
So that was a connection that JD had made. They actually, Marcus Fredrickson and JD both had the same condition. So they built this natural friendship with each other.
Yeah.
And JD had asked him if we could use his music on our some of our shows, and we were given permission to do that. And I'm grateful for it because the man was incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And that was another conversation that John was like, "Hey, we have the ability to use this music. Take a listen to it. Tell me what you think."
And
And
I
it took me, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, which was about as long as it took for me to listen to 3 songs. And I was like, absolutely, let's do
Okay.
it.
And now Mayhem, they own, I don't know if it's Mayhem or JD or you that owns the music or something along those lines.
I'm sorry, say that again. You kind of broke up a little bit.
I might have gotten I might have the story a little twisted or a little mixed up, but doesn't Mayhem own the rights to the music or in something along those lines?
So yeah, I wouldn't say we own the rights to it, unless there's a development that I'm not aware of. Um, but we've been given the right to use it commercially on like our podcast and stuff.
Okay. And I've gone and listened to several of the tracks because JD sent me the link to because he wanted to use one of the songs that had not been used yet for the Mayhem Gaming. So he sent me the link to listen to some of the songs to see which one that has not been used that we were going to use possibly for the Mayhem Gaming intro.
Okay, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, he's made JD's made a little small intros like 12 seconds, but he's still working on a more like in-depth one, like the ones we use are like almost a minute long.
Yeah, like we have for the Boiling Point podcast and Mayhem Tainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look
Well,
forward to seeing how that turns out.
if it's anything like the others, it'll turn out to be gold.
There you go.
And I would be remiss if I didn't. JD would probably have some words to say if I don't promote the Mayhem storefront somehow in this episode. So if you haven't yet, this is for you, JD. If you haven't yet, go check out the Mayhem storefront at www.bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media Shop. There's your
Get
plug,
yourself a
JD.
t-shirt, get yourself a mug, get yourself. I think we might have hats on there. There's all kinds of, and the quality of the stuff that comes out of there is absolutely amazing. The t-shirt I got, it's one of them good, thick, comfortable t-shirts that like right out of the box, but bag. You put it on and you're just like, man, this feels good.
Yeah, I just ordered my shirt yesterday,
There you go.
and it should be
You'll
here
have to
next week.
let everyone know what you think of it.
Definitely. Well, I plan on. I haven't told JD this, but I guess he'll hear it now. But I plan on doing like a little, not like a full episode, but maybe like a 5-minute video of opening the shirt and letting people see it.
All right, that's cool. Do like an unveiling. I like it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you have this. This is something new I've been doing at the end. What it's like basically a final thoughts. If you had to leave the viewers who are going to watch this with anything, what would you leave them with?
You know what? If I would like to tell the viewers to take that chance, to go ahead and try something, because you never know what it'll turn into.
You know, I guess if I use a quote for most of these. I'm gonna bounce it. Basically the same thing as you, but I'm gonna use a quote from one of my favorite movies. It's from Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
So true.
It is very much true. And I want to thank my very special guest tonight, Mizpah from Mayhem Media, for coming on coming on the show and giving me some of his time. I know he's a very busy man, and I look forward to having further discussions on other episodes with him.
Absolutely. I'm glad you had me on.
Oh yeah, it's been an awesome episode, and y'all make sure to this episode will be dropping in the next couple of days on YouTube, Facebook, and anywhere else you can find Mayhem Media on.
Yep. And feel free to comment. Uh, Leave any kind of feedback you'd like, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Oh yeah, we always do. And as always, I've been your host, the Media Maverick, and this has been Mizpah of Mayhem Media. Make sure y'all catch us on the next one. Good night.
Good night.